Wednesday morning. What's up, guys? Doing a live last night, and we were talking about business, and this dude's like, yeah, but you never answer the question, like, who gave you the money to start your business, or who started the business and gave you the business? I'm like, nobody did. I just worked a job, 2 jobs, normal work, took the money and bought some material. Like, yeah, but you're not saying like the truth. You're not really giving the real information. You're not telling people how to really, where the money really came from. I'm like, I don't know what you're alluding to or getting at. And he was very, very persistent. I'm like, look, man, I don't know what you think I'm withholding or what information you think that I'm not telling people, how I'm misleading people on this. I worked a job, a normal motherfucking job. I worked from the time I was 13 and a half years old. First job, rode a bus, switched buses, rode 2 buses, 90 minutes to work at McDonald's, making $3.85 an hour when I was 13 and a half years old. After that, did construction. At 14, 15 years old, they dropped me off at a job site with a pickaxe, a wheelbarrow, and a shovel, and just a pair of gloves, and I would bust up concrete slabs where they were putting ponds in the backyard, and I would bust up concrete with a sledgehammer. I'd pick it out with a pickaxe, put it in the wheelbarrow, and wheel it around front. And then at 5 o'clock, I'd be there at work. It's like 7 o'clock. I was the only one on the job site. They would literally drop me off, and I'd pull all the concrete out, and then when the truck showed up at 5 o'clock, I'd pick all the concrete back up. And it was always a discussion in my head: break the concrete up smaller, swing the sledgehammer more so I didn't have to lift big pieces of concrete, or swing the sledgehammer less and have to move bigger pieces of concrete. Either way, the work, it was more work, more hammer, or more lifting. And that was the constant in my head of the argument. That's what I did. That was my job. And they paid me cash. I worked for a company called Sierra Mesa Corporation. Dude up the street, Jeff Hunter, gave me that job. And that's what I did. And I took that money and started buying little pieces of material. When I finally started sewing, I rented a sewing machine for $25 a month. And I would break that sewing machine. And that sewing machine came from Oceanside, like 40 minutes north. And it was quicker to go to Mexico, to Tijuana, to get the sewing machine repaired than to take it up to the dude in Oceanside to have it fixed. That's what I did. I just worked, took the little money I had, bought some material. And I was buying material by the yard at a place called Upholstery Fabric Outlet in down by the border. And then webbing, I would buy it from Sport Chalet or REI by the foot. And I bought it, made something, and then sold that something. And then eventually, after a few months, dudes kept seeing it and they wanted to order this shit, so they would pre-order it. And I'd get, $500,000 for 4 of these rigs. I'd pre-sell at a gun show, and then I took that money and bought more material. And then eventually I got fired from my job a few years later. I had newspaper route delivering 3 newspapers: Investors Business Daily, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, all in the same area. It took about 4 hours a night. I was making about $3,000 a month delivering newspaper, driving my girlfriend's Nissan Sentra. And eventually I kept taking weekends off and having people fill in my route. They fired me. And I was super concerned about what I was going to do because I wasn't making $3,000 at my job. The first week, that weekend, I went to a gun show and really had to hustle in my head, right? I had to hustle and push my product and really showmanship. This rig has 3 times the material, twice the stitching. You can do pull-ups on these pockets. You can't rip, right? Real showmanship. Just really sold the product. I did $10,000 in sales that weekend. $10,000, and I was worried about $3,000. No internet. Didn't exist. Had to talk on the phone. People would send you a check. You'd deposit it, and your bank wouldn't cash it because it wasn't from your bank, right? There was no credit card, not for me, because I didn't have credit. It wasn't like things are now. Everything, the answer to everything is in the palm of your hand. People think nowadays that if somebody has something that they don't have, it's because somebody else gave it to them. You're fucking delusional, man. Make your fucking way. The answer to everything's in your hand. I'm gonna go work out. We're gonna build a bunch of videos. We do a shirt every week, different shirt. We only do 120 pieces. They sell out pretty quick. This says America First. You can get it on our website, soetacticalgear.com. I do a live video every night at 9 o'clock on YouTube. Join us.